Hi everyone, welcome. Is my screen on? It's not, is it? Oh, there we go. So this is like a different platform I'm used to using because I'm normally used to using Zoom. So you have to bear with while I get used to the layout and where everything is. So I hope everyone is good. It would be good if everyone can introduce themselves and say a little bit about what you do, where you are based, before we delve into all things sync, goals, strategy for 2026. Okay, Michael, you are first on my screen. If you want to turn your camera on and intro yourself.
Hi, Amelia. Unfortunately, I need to stay off camera today. I apologize for that. But I'm very happy to be here. It's good to see everybody. My name is Michael Gallant. I am a musician, composer, producer based in New York City, and just excited to be here.
Oh, all right. Edgar? Are you with us? Edgar? I'm not sure. Okay. Fernando?
Hello, did you say Fernando?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Fernando Romero. I'm from Guadalajara, Mexico. I'm based right now in Guadalajara. And basically what I do is I'm a classical music composer, film music composer. I started to redevelop my catalog a couple of weeks. Well, actually, when the lab started, I restarted with my composition for sync. And right now I'm working on this new fashion business model, the mini drama for real shorts app. I'm working on my first feature mini drama, and also waiting for a new short film, and that's my present right now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Edgar, are you with us? Okay, we will circle back to Edgar. Crystal.
Hi,
Hey.
I'm Crystal. Hi, I'm Crystal DeGrade with Astonish Entertainment. We are a boutique label, publishing company, and sync agency. And we represent probably, I should know my numbers. I'm so bad at this, but I think I have probably 11 or 12 artists I represent. And they're all individual artists that produce music for release and are all trying to make it. And I'm just trying to help them along. So that's me. Oh, I'm out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Cool, thank you. And Gary?
Gary Bocott. I'm in Portland, Maine. Like Crystal, I run a small sync agency. I have about 20 artists, mostly local, that I'm trying to represent in the sync space.
Nice, thank you. Okay, and Gronya? Can you hear me? You might need to unmute yourself. Okay. Okay, she might be having a few technical issues. Yeah, okay, we can circle back around. So in this session, we are going to really delve into all things sync, obviously. We're really going to look at 2026 and how we can really maximize this year, and for all of you individually, and really kind of help you to map out your goals for 2026 and what that looks like, and just with a little bit of guidance from me to help you map that out really and get you really thinking about that. And one sec, I've just got to let someone else in. And also we're going to be spotlighting Gary's goals, but I want this to be a really interactive session. So it won't just be me just talking and giving advice, because I always think when you bring a whole room of creatives together, amazing things happen. And especially, you know, with that entrepreneurial mindset as well. So we have, which Crystal and Othniel will know, we've run these sessions before, you know, the mastermind goal setting type, and it really does help getting you thinking and in that mind space as well, to really start thinking about what it is you really want to achieve this year. And also just making sure that you're not, say, you know, underachieving or doing way too much where it's unachievable. So it's also looking at goals that are realistic, and also really focusing on time frames and really measuring that. So these are things that we're going to look at as well. So what I'm going to have you all do, first of all, you must all have your computers to be able to write notes on. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and I want you all to write down one goal, one main goal, like the big picture goal that you're aiming for in 2026. Be specific and be measurable with it. And then at the end, well, I want you to then, after you've done that, post in the chat what that is, if you feel comfortable to do so, because everything that you share in here is safe space. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing, you know, what some of your goals are, then that's totally cool as well. I get it. But if you can write down that one main goal that you have, but also when you want to achieve it by, and also be really specific with it, because just like a goal saying, I want to land more placements, is not being really specific with it, but saying something like, I want to aim for, okay, if you're a composer, 1 short and 2 main feature films, preferably in the genre that I specialize in, like thriller or comedy, for instance. Even if there's like a director that you know is kind of within that reach, that you're, you know, really kind of, that you know quite well, that you would like to work with, even listing that, and just saying by the end of third quarter, I would like to achieve this by, and with the, you know, I guess it's 1, isn't it? Okay, 1 main feature film, and I say by the end of the second quarter is when I'm going to have, you know, all my assets and show reel and everything ready to be able to do that. I mean, this is just like throwing it out there. Obviously, this is going to be like personal for you. And for those that license music, instead of, again, just I want to land more placements, it's being really specific in, is there any gems in your catalog or any artists that you really want to focus on this year, that you really want to push, and what form of media do you want to focus on that really matches like what a particular artist does, and when do you want to achieve that by? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes just to write that down and to focus on that. Okay. Okay. So we're going to take a look at the first quarter. So we are now obviously in the first quarter up until I believe it's the end of March. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want you to now focus on, okay, you've got your big picture goal. By the end of the first quarter, what does that look like to potentially help you get started and hit the ground running? So I'll give you an example. By the end of quarter one, I want to get X amount of tracks completely finished. If you've got, you know, half finished works that you're working on at the moment, if it's a creative goal for you at the moment, or I want to get my show reel a little bit more polished up or remixed, mastered, or whatever it is. You can also have, say, if like pitching for more briefs is going to help you to get your main picture goal, maybe it's I want to pitch for X amount of briefs by the end of the first quarter. And maybe you want to also look at the amount of outreach you're doing, so outside of this platform, for instance, as well. And I want to do X amount of follow-ups by the end of the first quarter. So I'm going to give you another 2 minutes to focus on what are your targets going to be by the end of the first quarter. If you can write that down towards your main goal. So don't feel you have to post like each part in the chat. It's up to you again. But sometimes it also helps to have that creative input, and it helps to inspire ideas and bounce off ideas off one another. So I'm all about like collaborating with ideas and stuff. Okay, so then you will then, because we're quite like a little bit stuck for, we don't have a massive amounts of time. For each quarter, because obviously, as you know, we have 4 quarters, you will focus then on, in your own time, because you've done big picture goal, you've done what the end of the first quarter looks like. How can you then build upon that between, say, from quarter 2 and in quarter 3 to then say meet your goal by the end of quarter 4? How can you then continue building upon that? And another thing to also think about is how will you track that and measure that? So what I do, and what I've got into the habit of doing, running businesses and things, is I've always, December's always been like my month when everything shuts down, when I can really actually don't have to deal with the day-to-day and constant noise and firefighting and whatever else is going on. And those that, you know, run a lot of creative projects and run businesses, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's when everything like shuts down and you can really actually hear yourself think. That's the time when I really sit down and creatively plan out like the year ahead. And I know everyone has like their own different ways of doing this, but this is just my way. And then I like to plan that all out like per quarter, and what that looks like. And then I like to then really break that down even more so into say, okay, what does this look like, say, for my first quarter, that I can really start putting in like all the details and the finer details, and then start to break that down into, okay, what do then my weekly tasks look like? You have like your daily have to do's, and you have like your weekly lists and stuff. But sometimes that weekly to-do list of all the other stuff that isn't towards your goals can end up taking up all of your time, and before you know it, you are like more than halfway, 3/4 into the year, and you haven't even had a chance to even work on towards your big picture goal. It's kind of just got like lost by the wayside from all the other noise and all the other firefighting stuff that you have going on, and life in general that just sometimes like blindsides you, that wasn't even planned for. And then, like I said, because the goals haven't been, the big picture goals haven't been worked on consistently, it's then fallen by the wayside. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to maybe start working on that next year. So it's making a stamp for being like, no, this year I'm really going to keep this in mind and be consistent with like small but repeated consistent efforts, even if it's just an hour a day. That builds up to quite a lot by, say, an end of the year. And I always find with like big goals that seem like, okay, it seems unachievable when you first write it down, but when you actually really break that down and you do start working towards it in small, manageable little chunks, it's amazing how much you can actually achieve by doing that. Because it's not the big grand gestures and the big projects that we do and that we make that makes the massive difference. It's the small, daily, consistent efforts. It's the working on things when you're really tired and you really don't want to. It's that discipline. And it's also that discipline, perhaps getting up that hour earlier or staying up that hour later, to just dedicate to your big picture goal and working that in. Okay, so let's look at your weekly output. We're going to look at putting some numbers in here. Tracks, maybe signings here. So as a creative, this could be how many new tracks am I gonna like work on per week? How many signings am I gonna focus on this week? If your goal is to sign like a lot of new artists to build up your catalog, how many are you gonna focus on per week to work towards your big picture goal by the end of the year? How many submissions and how many pitches are you going to focus on per week? That's going to help you to get to your end goal. And how many follow-ups are you going to be doing per week? Breaking it down. So you could also do like, okay, per month, this is what I want to aim for, and to make it manageable, this is what I'm going to focus on per week. And if you wanted to, you could even break that down per micromanage that per day. Is completely up to you. But if I was to ask all of you, how many of after the live pitch sessions of the guests that you've met with, how many of you have consistently been following up with them and building those relationships and tracking that and keeping a database of that as to when you last spoke to them? When did you last send them something? What was the last conversation that you had? Are you all doing that? If not, this is a good time to start doing that, because as creatives, tracking databases, not always like our strong points, because we are creatively minded. So I'm going to give you, another 2 minutes. I'm going to stop rambling, and then I'm going to give you 2 minutes to finish your weekly output. Okay, so I want you to now think about 3 gems in your catalog. Like every person that reps a catalog, or it's your own, your own catalog, rather than one that you rep. Everyone has like their gems, right? Their favorites, that they absolutely love and would love to see placed, or instrumental score piece that would work amazing in a film. Think about your catalog, and I want you, for those 3 tracks or pieces, score pieces, to write down 1, 2, 3, just 3 for the moment. And I want you to write down which area of sync you think this is best suited to. And you can also perhaps maybe think back to any feedback that you might have received as well from any guests or me or the team, or if you've pitched this one. Think about what area of media is best suited to. If it's, say, a game, for gaming, what kind of game does that mostly resemble that's would be like your ideal? Or TV series, what kind of TV series do you think, yes, this would be perfect for that? And also, like, what's the reason behind that? What makes you think that is best suited for that? And do that for your top 3 gems, or it could be just 3 that you really want to push this year. Do also post in the chat if you can. Just helps to bounce ideas. Okay. Now I want you to think about what feedback that you've received, whether that's been on like any brief submission or by any guests or anyone like in an industry in general, on any particular score piece or track or artist that you rep, whatever. Anything that also stood out to you and any changes that were like perhaps suggested for you to make, whether that was like creatively in the production, whether that was maybe to change into, say, like trailer, or perhaps maybe that is to do with the mix or the mastering, perhaps. If you can have a think as to some of the feedback that you have received and write that down, and the names of the tracks. And if you've actually done that, because perhaps you could also include in your plan actually implementing some of these creative ideas and repitching it again. And another thing to think of is if it was a sync agent or a supervisor that suggested that and you've implemented changes, perhaps also working into your plan, reaching out to them again with the suggested changes that you've made to that, for them to check out again. Maybe perhaps tying it into something they're also working on right now, as also a way to reestablish that connection, but also tying it into repitching for something current that they're working on. Because these are the little things that go by the wayside when you get stuck into day-to-day stuff, but that also can be quite valuable by implementing changes like this that just get forgotten. Another thing to think about before we delve into Gary's goals. How many of you have sent tracks when, after a session, when a supervisor or sync agent has said to send something across, and you have taken the time to go and do that right, you know, in a timely manner after a particular session? And are you in the habit of also doing that regularly, and really utilizing that? And when they give their contact details, are you building up your database and your network? Because this is also what this platform is about. Like, we do provide opportunities and things, but we also really empower you to build up your own network using our platform. So every time they're sharing their details, like if you don't already have like a network database that you aren't currently building, I imagine a lot of you are already, but I strongly suggest that you are actively building that into, again, your weekly tasks where possible, and really taking them up on the offer when they say, you know, send me more stuff, when they suggest that as well. Okay, so let me see if I can. Gary, you happy with me sharing these goals on the screen and going through it? Are you cool with that? Or do you want me to just talk it through on my end?
That's fine. I'm okay with it.
Okay. So again, just to reiterate, this is going to be a collaborative thing. So we're going to go through, I'm going to read through, or Gary, you can read through your own goals. And as Gary is reading through them, or if you want me to, I'm happy to do that. Write down some notes that you feel will inspire Gary, or things for him to think about, or even if you've got any like connections that you feel would help him, or if there's a form of media maybe in terms of sync that you think like, hey, like if your goal is this, if you thought of that, anything that can like inspire and encourage and challenge. So it's going to be a group effort. All right, so hopefully this should be able to share on my screen. Just give me a sec. Can you all see this okay?
I just need to zoom in. Okay.
Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So would you like to read it out?
Sure.
Cool.
So I'll start at the top. 2026 screen pitch goals. Goal 1, land a sync placement. Goal 2, make some meaningful connections on the production side. And goal 3, continue growing my catalog.
Okay, cool. Carry on. Just go through the whole thing and then we'll break it down.
Okay. SWOT analysis, repeat for each goal. Goal 1, membership of Ultimate Sync Access. Growing catalog. A growing network of contacts for goal 2. Goal 3, established network of local musicians and a passion for music. Weaknesses, what could realistically hold you back? Goal 1, lack of a track record and experience. Goal 2, getting people to invest in building a working relationship. And goal 3, a lack of success. Opportunities, external factors that could help this goal. Goal 1, access to more briefs. Goal 2, attend industry events, make connections on LinkedIn and social media. Goal 3, research more music and attend more shows. Threats, external risks or blockers. Goal 1, a competitive market. Goal 2, my location. Goal 3, trust. Smart breakdown. What exactly are you aiming to do? Goal 1, make more pitches. Goal 2, attend industry events, make more connections with local production companies. And goal 3, identify genres not represented in my catalog and work on signing artists in those styles. Measurable, how will you track progress? Goal 1, hope to land 1 placement in Q1 of 2026. Goal 2, I plan to attend 2 industry events in Q1 of 2026, 1 locally and 1 national event. I hope to make connections with 5 people at each event. Continue to make connections on socials. Send out a quarterly compilation via Disco. And was that the end? Oh. Goal 3, sign 20 artists in Q1 of 2026. Achievable. Is this realistic to your current capacity? Yes. Relevant. Why does this matter for your screen strategy? Goal 1, more opportunities should result in more success. Goal 2, getting myself and my catalog in front of people will raise awareness and interest. Goal 3, the more music I have in my catalog, the more productions I can pitch to. Time bound, by when? I am setting all these goals for Q1 in 2026. SMART goal statement. I believe as I grow my catalog and my network, more opportunities will appear. With more opportunities comes more success. Areas where you'd like feedback, catalog readiness, and pitching focus.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. I'm going to bring it back to the first page. Okay, so let's break down the main goals here. So goal 1, like land a sync placement. Goal 2, make some meaningful connections on the production side. Goal 3, continue growing my catalog. Okay, so these to me are very like quite vague goals.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could, I mean, you went in a little bit more specific nearer the end where it asks you to be a bit more specific, but land and sync placement, like what kind of sync placement? Like what's the minimum kind of, a budget's a factor? Like, are you concerned about, say, the amount that would be offered on that sync placement? Or is it more just at this stage, I just want credits? Because obviously in this industry, credits are everything. Credits are worth more than gold. Credits are gold. Credits are worth literally a lot of the times, especially as a newbie, like breaking in, credits are worth more than, of course, money is important, but it's almost like you need one to get the other. And so without a track record, yeah, credits are everything. So when you say land and sync placement, what does that look like specifically?
Yeah, I think your assessment is good. I think I feel like I'm in that place where I don't have the trust factor. I sort of get into that in the goals. So at this point, I think a placement for me, is anything. Like I've even been talking to a local production company about licensing some music for them for free, just to get things rolling in that realm. Money would be nice, of course. It's always nice, right? But yeah, credits at this point, I think, are the most important thing.
And this is a difficult thing as well, isn't it? Because it's almost like at the same time, as an industry, we also don't want it to be like a race to the bottom. So we don't want too many productions thinking that they can get their hands, especially with AI, on music for free, because then it like overall devalues so the whole industry. So it's finding a way to find that balance that helps you, but it also helps the industry in a way. So that's just some food for thought. How has that been going with the production companies?
It's kind of slow going. They seem reluctant to work with me because of the track record. These people that I've been talking to, that have, the conversations have reached this point where they're telling me they license everything through Warner Chappell catalog, and they don't have a budget beyond that, which is a lie. Because
so I'll tell you what's happening here. They're probably under an exclusive license.
Well, theoretically, though, right? They have to pay based on what music they use, right? I feel like that it's based on distribution. It's based on length of track, usage, all that stuff. So if they are using one of my tracks for free, that's something they don't have to pay Warner Chappell for, right?
So what, the big ones like Warner, what's the huge music libraries at APM? A lot of these will have exclusive blanket deals in place with networks.
Okay.
So it can be very, very challenging because of these exclusive blankets they have in place to then license through them because of that. I'm not saying that's always the case, but it is quite a lot of the case. So perhaps maybe it's rethinking the form of media or the strategy and not going for, say, big networks or anything. So maybe rethink, okay, how can I get around that? So what suggestions does anyone else have here? Does anyone want to jump in at this point?
Hi.
Hey, Alpha.
Hi, Amelia.
You have a good understanding of this side of things.
Oh man, this is one tricky one. I think you kind of hit a very good one, which is credit. So not if you find something to do for really, really, really cheap for somebody, any production, it would help a great deal. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be always free, but like really, really cheap. I think that helps a lot. On in terms of man, okay. Let me see what I wrote down here. I think that you have it's an advantage in a way, right, with AI music and all of that, because yes, it's cheap. However, a lot of because of legal certainty and legal risk, a lot of people are not. So it's technically your advantage. So like another easy way to land a quick placement is to work with a TikTok or some kind of creator on those platforms that makes long shorts, right? Like longer shorts, that then they can take and then put in a bunch of sound bites over and over and over again, and then put on their platform. And then you take that same track and you release it on DSPs, and then it creates a chain, and then it comes right back to you.
Okay, DSPs, what is that?
Oh,
Stuff. Distribution platforms.
Okay.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just my thought on an easy way to get it.
No, it's good. And you also mentioned like growing your catalog. Are you able to then be really specific? I can't remember if you mentioned that already previously, but how many you're going to aim for per quarter, and are you tracking like then your numbers in a sense of setting out the numbers per month of what you're aiming for, and then reviewing that perhaps per quarter, or you could review it monthly and whether it's like being achievable or not, whether the numbers like need adjusting. So it's just a sense of I'm just making sure that that is very specific. And when you talk about growing your catalog, it's very, very generalized. Like what genres, like who do you want to sign? Is your focus still, is that like your USP is just local, or are you signing like international as well? Are you going to be known for a specific genre, or are you going to really diversify and have a bit of everything? So it's then being like really specific with those signings as well. And are you just going to sign indie, or are you also open to signing those that have representation? You're just going to rep for sync licensing only. So it's thinking about, the specifics of that and what that looks like.
Yeah, I think all of the above. I do. It's mostly local artists in the catalog. I do have one international artist. He's a guy from the Netherlands, and I'm not opposed to signing more international artists. I have been reaching out to people on Bandcamp. As far as genres go, I do have some specific genres that I'm targeting. I'd like to get some string music into my catalog. I think that would really help me. Like the Bridgerton brief we got recently. I really didn't have anything for it. And I think getting some stuff like that in the catalog would be advantageous. I'm I'm sorry. What other questions were there?
So my first thought as well was obviously with the platform, because we're catering to so many different catalogs, that everything has to be really diverse. I would just say, because I've done this in the past many moons ago, is careful not to throw, in the English we say, in well, you're Scottish, you know, careful not to throw too much spaghetti at the wall.
No.
and hoping to see what sticks. Because then you just can potentially diversify too much, because you're trying to cater for every brief, that you end up like then catering for nothing. So sometimes it's also what's your passions in music? Like, where is your heart in terms of certain genres? Because you probably have like certain kind of passion and heart for certain genres potentially, but be careful not to throw spaghetti.
Yeah. And so that's a fun question, because I like so much music. I just I don't have a specific genre that I love. I like so many genres. So it's tough like I'm drawn to all kinds of music. So I understand the specificity. Sorry, it's tough to say. Like I understand that approach. I think what will happen is the catalog will sort of develop over time, and that aspect of it will sort of reveal itself as I sign more people.
Yeah, I think the thing you have down at the moment in terms of the local artist homegrown thing is quite strong, because there's many filmmakers and there's quite a few productions that I've come across quite a bit in my time, you know, being in the sync side, in that they want to champion local artists and their local community and things. So I feel like that's also a strong point for you that I feel like you could tap into more. With local film productions even. So don't just think in terms of, say, TV networks and thinking really big on the outset. It's almost like take those steps first and build up to something like that, and start local, because that's where your main catalog, that's where the heart is at the moment of your catalog, is local. And so I'd be looking at, okay, what is, say, like the local film makers, film production companies, film producers, film directors. Let's team up, and or those that might be shooting in your location, or but definitely like the local production side, because they're always down, especially like the lower budget ones, even lower to say like mid, but definitely the lower budget side, because what you need right now is credits, and that will give you the credits. And they would want to collab with you and with your artist, and you could almost do like a deal with them and be like, hey, I'm willing to, like, I would love to collab on you with your film and provide all the music for it, especially, and keep everything local with the local artists. And perhaps, you know, we could do some kind of deal if it goes really well, that you then consider me on other projects as a go-to source. And
yeah, that makes total sense. I have been working that angle a little bit, and I'm planning on one of the industry events that I'm planning on attending is coming up at the beginning of February. It's the annual meeting of the Maine Film Association. And so, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go to that and do some networking.
Yeah, because a lot of them, they do want to champion local,
Hey, Amelia,
Local
please
talent.
correct me if I'm wrong here. I've found that like certain small productions, really, really small, that are just trying to do festival releases,
Yeah.
right? Have a very tiny budget. They don't know if it's going to make it or not,
Mm.
but they want it, right?
Mm.
And they will jump on it.
Yeah, there's so
And
many out there that look for that, honestly. Another thing that will help you as well, like join, you will probably have, whereabouts are you based again?
Portland, Maine, East Coast,
Okay.
is north of Boston.
Okay, so I'd be joining all like the Boston Facebook film groups. I'd be joining all like all the area around you as well. That whole creative hub, looking on, you know, the events, the Facebook groups, you know, Instagram, all that side of things, and tapping into that. Because like you put here, one of your strengths is the local side of things. So I'd be tapping into that first, because you're trying to aim for the big picture right at the beginning. But
Yes.
that big picture, there's steps towards that. We all want to be like over there,
Yeah.
but we have to put in the work here first. We can't just go 0 to 100. We have to
Right.
climb the steps. We all have to grab. We all have to kind of put. And there are a few, you know, lucky whatever ones that, you know, get that. It's almost like a lottery win, isn't it? But for the rest of us mere mortals, we have to put the graft in and work our way towards things like that. Once you've got the credits, once you are established, and that is the best way to get the foot onto the ladder, so to speak. And does anyone have anything else to jump in at this stage? Okay. What events do you know that are happening around your area, or like within a short flight distance for you?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I've got the Maine Film Association event that I just mentioned.
Mhm.
I know that there's Guild of Music Supervisors yearly gathering in New York that I could make. I think it might be in September, it's later in the year. But yeah, other than that, there's not too much in the Northeast. That there is a group that meets in Vermont fairly, I think, monthly. It's like a monthly film festival they have there. I've considered making the drive over there to check that out.
Yeah. So these are things that you will incorporate into your plan for the year. And so you'll need to see when the dates are and then slot that in into which quarter that fits in. Another thing that I suggest as well, like once you've got your roadmap, so to speak, for the year, and you've got your quarters mapped out, and one in really simple thing, but really, really important, remember your why. Remember your reason why you're doing this, because we can all feel halfway through the year or towards the end of the year, I'm knackered. I don't, sometimes I even then, a lot of the times, many times every year, at least once, twice, 10 times, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I in this industry? Like, this drives me nuts. Like, remind me why I'm doing this. I mean, I moan to like whoever's around me at the time about it all the time. And then I have a break, and then I start the new year, and I'm like, I love this. Of course I love this. So it's remembering like your reason why, and having that in front of you wherever you work. I always like to have things like visually that I can see is like my goals, but then also like my reason why. In those times that, you know, when you get knocked down quite a few times, like life can knock you down, or rejections, career rejections, or whatever, like everyone gets them, and yeah, it can feel disheartening sometimes. And then when you really have that reason why anchored, it's like, yes, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I do recommend to have that close by. All right, so let's move on to the next bit. All right. Industry events make connections on LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also another area. Obviously, we did the LinkedIn masterclass. If you have you checked that out?
Yeah, I did. It was helpful for sure.
Have
Yeah,
you?
I've
Yeah.
been making a lot of connections on there. No one really responds to messages on there though. Like I've had a few that do. I've had more success with like responding to people's posts.
Yeah.
But
So
cold calling
mm,
via LinkedIn isn't very successful.
so that can also be looking at what you're sending and what your profile looks like and what your network looks like. There's quite a few factors involved because quite a few people, or A, they're either busy, or two, that your profile isn't set up enough, or your connections are fairly low, that there's just nothing in there enough to kind of give them that pull towards building that connection. All those things that she mentioned in the masterclass are really, really important in having all of those things in place, because LinkedIn can be a really, really strong tool if used correctly and if, say, the outreach is done correctly. But again, these things are part of, say, the networking side of things, and is good to spend a little bit of consistent time on, either daily, like an hour a day, or maybe something per week, like you say, seeing who's posting what, because a lot of people like post opportunities and stuff on there as well, like a lot. So it's spending that time scouring through. It might feel like wasted time because it might feel a bit like doom scrolling, but it's not. It's really targeted still networking, and also, like you say, responding to comments. But then I do look at some comments there and I'm just like, oh, you're only really doing that because you're not interested in that person. You're just literally just writing it just to get something.
Yeah, I find I think the key to the comments is don't have an ask, just participate. And
yeah, just being real, and also yourself being consistent as well with, like, and I'm really guilty of this, I'm not good at posting. I'm really on my own profile, I'm really bad at that. So we don't always practice what we preach, right? But it is wise to post really, really good, engaging content regularly. Because if you're posting engaging content that other filmmakers would be interested in, or other supervisors would be interested in, because it also potentially involves them, or is something that they know that they would be engaged in, they will engage in that, and so they will be responding on your posts rather than the other way around. So content is key, and it's not maybe just a case of don't AI it, because people can also tell, because so much on there is like just AI, isn't it? So is anyone else Fernando?
Yes, hi again. I really feel like really interested on the LinkedIn conversation, because LinkedIn is my main social media profile, where I do my main networking strategy since a few years ago. A few years ago, I was traveling between Mexico and California, and I was just traveling for meeting new people. I got lucky, and I got involved on a few projects in the US. But even living in the US, I was networking mainly through LinkedIn. even in my own city, I used to live in Orange County. When people were busy, we used to meet on LinkedIn. And I used to have a very good rate of meetings per week, maybe 2 or 3. No matter if I was living in Mexico or in the US, because here in my city, it is one of the biggest cities in Mexico, but we don't have a big movie or film market, right? So for me, totally makes sense to be traveling to the States to meet new people on the bigger industry. And I remember specifically in the US, maybe there are some people from the US who can help us with new information. I feel that people is not as open to talk to new people as they used to be in 22 or 23. That's my feeling, because I used to have at least one call, one video call, or one meeting, no matter where I used to live on LinkedIn. And I was using LinkedIn basically. Here in Mexico, people is not used to do LinkedIn, and they basically network in-person events. But we don't have like big in-person events to meet new people. And we call here in Mexico, we call at some events, do you have industry at the event? That means that you have a specific spaces or time where you can book one-to-one meetings with producers, film directors, and everything. So for now, LinkedIn for me is working good. I also watch the masterclass you have on the in the platform, and I am applying everything. I really started to my strategy with new information. I updated my profile. I'm posting some like silly stories on LinkedIn based on real cases about my work. And what is funny is that right now my rate on cold calling is not. I'm not getting too much responses, to be honest, but people is following me. People from different orchestras, for example, LA Philharmonic, LA Chamber Orchestra, from different choirs, from players from all over the states, Florida, New York. Also writers, film directors, and a few music supervisors. Even I met music supervisors, and I can mention the name of the company. I'm not going to mention the name of the company is. Let me watch. Let me see my emails. The name of the company is The Elements Music, and they have offices, I think, in Europe, in some country. They have in LA, New York, and they have offices in Mexico City. And this guy contacted me. I never contacted him, and so I think if any of the guys who live in the United States, will be great to hear how people feel about the platform, because maybe there is a new one. Now I see a rush related to the verticals. So everybody is talking about the verticals. And everybody is pretty active on talking about on AI, the new models, the Warner Brothers and Netflix and but I don't know. Maybe someone who lives in the United States can tell us how people feels about the platform these days.
Yeah, verticals are really popular. They're really coming to the forefront, and I think studios and stuff are investing in that as well now, aren't they? So, for you getting that engagement, what were you doing differently that you weren't getting before? Was it the content, or was it you feel like changing your profile up? Like, what do you feel was the strategy that helped you then get more engagement?
It's funny because I think that right now I have a very solid strategy with the content. I am doing like my weekly fee of to-do list, sending a certain amount of requests, sending a certain amount of introduction messages to 10 different people. Right now I'm working on quality, not in quantity. I post 3 times a week. I comment. I do everything I saw on the masterclass, and also on a few other things that works for me. But it's funny because I used to get in contact with people in a more, let's say, basic way before. I'm just sending a more generic message. For example, let's say it's someone I found an interesting film director. I would say a couple of years ago, I would say, I hope you're doing well. My name is Fernando. I'm from Guadalajara. I'm traveling between Mexico and California to try to get involved in some projects. If ever makes sense to have a conversation, I will be glad to. And people used to respond to that. Hey, Fernando, are you in LA or are you in Mexico? Oh, right now I'm in Orange County. Oh, we have a party, blah, 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 next. And please join us, or something like that. And I used to have a good amount of meetings doing that. My reaching out was in a more genetic way, I would say, to be honest. And right now that I'm like trying to be more personalized and organic and in a long-term mindset, people is not responding. It's funny, but it's what is happening right now. But I'm still doing it. I don't feel uncomfortable talking to new people or asking for a meeting, or I don't feel uncomfortable doing that in person or through LinkedIn. But let's see. I just started everything in this year. Basically, this is my 3rd week. So maybe in a couple of weeks or months, I could share how it goes. But I would love to hear how people in the States feel about networking these days, because my main network is in California, but people now hate California. They are leaving, they are selling, the big studios are selling space, people are trying to get relocated to New York, Atlanta, New Mexico. So any kind of information would be great from the US people.
And thank you. Anyone else want to jump in here? So I can say, like, in the past, it's always been really effective for me when I've been traveling, especially internationally, and I'm like, I reach out, even when I didn't have any track record and I was just setting up my first sync agency back in around, I think maybe 2017 or something. Yeah. And I would just reach out. I don't know, obviously I know times change and things change, industry changes, but I would just reach out and be like, hey, I'm in your city between these dates, would love to meet for coffee or this or that. And I'd find a lot of people, knowing you're in town, would be really receptive to that. I think it's also wise to like tie it in with an event as well. So I would always try and like combine the two. So I would have, you know, the main event, conference, whatever, and then I would have my own meetings in addition to that. And sometimes it would work out that I would end up having more meetings that I wouldn't be able to spend that much time at the conference because I just had too much going on outside of that. But then I always had the conference to fall back on if meetings fell through or, you know, it just wasn't working out. Because you also can't always rely on like conferences in a sense of being able to know that you're going to have quality networking time with them. It varies per conference, doesn't it? So that's how I used to always play it. That always worked for me. So anyone else?
Sure. I'm a little bit of a pest on LinkedIn. I'm a little bit of a, you know, like sorry, Adam Fernando.
Yeah.
He was saying, right? You can never be shy.
Yeah.
And no is literally just the word. I can't tell you how many times I've called and called, and they're like, no, he's not here. And I'm like, I know him. Or like, you know, like, no, we you know. So I've done a lot, and then every outreach, one of the things I do, like in email especially, or like little notes on LinkedIn, I watch how other people interact with me, right? Say I have somebody that just sent me a request and they sent me a message. How did I feel about that message, right? If somehow that message made me want to reach back out to them, I swear, I would literally copy that same message, just make a little adjustment and send it out. And then get the response from that and consistently adjust. That is the theme that we have here. It's about constantly and, you know, making small adjustments literally every single day to see how it actually would work and would pan with people. So I'm not great at posting on LinkedIn, but one thing I do is I reach out to a lot of people and I stay in contact with them. So every person I reach out to, every couple of weeks, they're going to hear from me. If they don't hear from me halfway through the year, they're going to hear from me. If no response around some holiday, they're going to hear from me. I will do that until I get a response, maybe a no, hey, you're a pest, or no, I know somebody, right? I've done so many of those that, I mean, of course, there's a line, right? If they don't respond.
Don't want restraining order territory.
Exactly. One big thing I do, well, there's actually a couple of them. I never send music, especially not on the first email to anybody.
Yeah, I never send music, and I never pitch. Even music supervisors, I remember getting meetings with music supervisors without saying even that I'm a composer.
Yep.
And I could say names. I'm not going to say names, but big names in the UK and LA and New York. Just to talk. And only if they ask me to send music, I will send music. I think I agree with you. We don't have to be shy, no matter what kind of personality we have. I consider myself as an introvert. I'm not super social, but I remember when I get to the States for the first time for networking, what I have to say to somebody in order to get 15 minutes of their time, maybe in a call, maybe on a meeting, or in an in-person meeting, or on a video call. And I realized that maybe my communication skills weren't the best. Even my
Mhm.
English, you can all notice that my English is not the best, and it was worse.
What are you
But
talking about? I understand you perfectly.
no, but I know that when I talk, sometimes when I write, when I text, I can commit a lot of mistakes. But if you feel shy about it, uh, so I don't feel shy about it. I always try to improve. But I think for most of us, that we may be in a dangerous position when we are pitching, because you don't want to be the pushy guy with no sense pitching for directors or for producers. So one thing that I agree with you. Well, I mean, I agree in everything basically, but what I try to care about is, yes, how I would like to be approached. I mean, it has to be with respect and also an honest way. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the pushy composer who is always knocking your door. Hey, I need job. Hey, I need job. And
Yeah.
I'm not the best posting, honestly. You can go to my LinkedIn and you will see silly stories that I call composer and director talks, and I write a mini script with any particular situation, and that's it. I'm not. I even let's say I don't even feel comfortable posting. Honest, I'm not interested in posting, to be honest. But when I saw the master class, I thought, if I want different results, I want to do something different. That's why I incorporated posting on my
Mhm.
previous strategy. Also, personalizing and adapting basically daily your message. I agree with that. That's very important,
Mm.
because you don't want to
Our
make,
relationship.
yeah, exactly. I'm thinking on medium and long term. So that's are my thoughts for LinkedIn. I feel curious about how people feel in the States, because I have to say something that I feel really grateful about the United States. I have a lot of friends and family in the States, even that I'm from Mexico, out of the media or music industry. But I found, when I was living in the States, I found more support. I found more support from the American community, the 100% American community, than from the Latino community. That doesn't mean that I don't have Latino friends in the industry, but my first gig in the States, she was an American director. And basically, I feel that the American community can be more supportive with me. I am talking just about my own experience, than even other Latinos.
Well, if you don't mind, so
Uh,
you probably were in California, right?
yes.
Um, I have a social side to what I do, which, and just to maybe answer that, and maybe we'll put everything in context for everybody, as well.
Uh-huh.
Uh, First of all, the American market for entertainment and content is bigger.
Yes.
So you have way more people,
Yes.
and then you have a lot of socially conscious, man, I can't even talk. So socially conscious people that prefer working with somebody else.
Mm.
There's that too, right?
Yeah.
And then the 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 market is just simply bigger. You meet more people, and there are more people that are more attracted to working with somebody for whatever creative reason, right? They want a certain sound. They're like, I've talked to everybody. And then there's the element of luck.
Yeah.
That happens, especially, a lot in this industry. But you know, for instance, I have a couple of friends that are film creators who are Latinos in the LA area. And when it came down for us to, for them to do certain projects, they found more support. The initial support was community, right? But then to get it to different mediums or to do certain things, right? Like the community itself could not get it there, right? So you kind of need, right? It requires that outside kind of intervention, so to speak, right? And sometimes the right person at the right time in the right place makes that magic happen. Because we support a lot of well, I don't want to get in trouble here, but you know, we work with a lot of underrepresented creative groups, as well as very well represented ones. You know, in fact, one of the very well represented is in the Boston area, I think, where you are. Sorry, I'm forgetting your name. My apologies.
Gary.
Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in fact, I think I should connect you with this person. Green Flash Music. They are in the Andover, I think, area. But yeah, so like he's a classical guitarist, you know, one of the people that are classical guitarists, and those are the things that you don't see a lot these days, right? So somebody coming out and doing a classical guitar album that spans, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years before till now, like everybody immediately pays attention. But that person rarely would look like me and Fernando, right? So all of those things come into play, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look it up. It sounds like a great opportunity.
Does anyone have anything on that subject to add? Okay. So you mentioned assigned 20 artists in Q1 of 2026. Is that achievable with everything else that's been discussed with, say, the pitch strategy, the social strategy, you know, all of it combined? Is that
I'm already up to 11.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's easily achievable. Signing people is, I mean, I'm sure you know, if it's one person who wrote everything and they own the master, it's super easy, it's fast. I can get it done in a day. But a lot of things, it just depends on the project. Like I just signed this thrash metal band, and it was involved. It was 6 people, and they got lawyers involved, and I had to change a bunch of language in my contract, and it was like a whole month of back and forth.
Was it worth it?
Their lawyers, my lawyer.
Wow.
And but it's one of those things. Was it worth it? It's hard to say. I feel like it was an opportunity that came my way to sign a genre of music that I think could be worthwhile, and so I followed up on it and eventually got it done. But yeah, it was like pulling teeth.
Yeah, I remember those
But
days.
you never know till you get into it, right? You never know how difficult it's going to be.
No, but I always go by as well, like, of course, it's good to protect yourself and the artist, whatever. I've, over the years of dealing with, a lot of business interactions and stuff and contracts, even just like hiring, I always go by initial contact, like what they're like and how they're perceived, like in the beginning, and how they deal with you, how they communicate and how they show up. I typically find is how it then goes on from there, because I've always found if people in their initial interaction have been slightly challenging, difficult maybe, I've found it's always got progressively worse. Maybe others can maybe haven't had the same experience, but I've found that often to be the case. So for me, my initial reactions on the first lots of communication. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be like, okay, you've done this and now I'm gonna write you off. Not at all. But if I see something, a repeated pattern or something that would slightly be a red flag for me in the beginning, because I've found it's then often been a thorn in my side, I don't entertain it. Because
Yeah.
So and instincts is a massive one. I always find in anything, anytime I've gone against that, it's always been trouble. So just follow your instincts in terms of artist signings and just anything you do, really.
Yeah, I mean, I do like these guys. They're very nice, and
yeah.
I always say the heavier the music, the nicer the people are.
Well,
it's like
yeah, I mean, like Ozzy
therapy
Osbourne
for
was
them.
probably like one of the nicest persons in rock. Like, yeah. So I just want to touch on other ways as well, in terms of, say, getting rejections and things. So if I'm reaching out to someone, especially if they're in a team, say it be a company like or a network or something like that, and like say if you're not getting any responses, I would always be like, okay, I'm gonna go to someone else in that same team. If I'm not getting, if you're not getting the interaction and seeing how that goes.
Yeah, a folder on my desktop. It's called dormant.
Yeah,
and it's full of that stuff. Yeah,
and everyone gets it. Like everyone gets ghosted. No matter what level that you're working at, or you know what it is that you're doing, it's a universal thing. Everyone gets that. So it's just something that just comes part and parcel with the job, isn't it? Another thing as well is, how can you be of value to a producer or a director or a music supervisor? Like, what value can you bring? Like, how can you make their lives and their jobs easier? Because remember, like, a lot of supervisors deal with a lot of paperwork, a lot of admin, and a lot of them are doing it on their own. They have, if they're working on like a series or whatever, they'll have like a ton of clearances to have to push through by, you know, a certain deadline, and there's always budgeting issues at play as well. They're always overloaded, overwhelmed. So sometimes it's also a case of like thinking the non-traditional route rather than just like, oh, I want to pitch you some music. Well, how about like getting in on the inside and helping them and just being like, hey, I know you're working on this. You may have a coordinator already assisting you, but I mean, don't offer to do any clearance work or anything if you don't know how to do clearances. But like, if you've got any admin that you want to upload, I'm more than happy to like assist you. Don't ask for anything at this point, but just be of service and don't expect anything in return at that point, because it's gonna help them at the end of the day, and it's gonna build that relationship. You're going to become a trusted source to them, and you're going to be a helpful person to them, and a helpful person to a stressed out, tired supervisor that's getting near deadline, has got a million clearances going on, that's not getting over the line. You're going to be like an angel for them, and they're going to want to return that favor at some point. Maybe helping to get a track or two into a production. So sometimes it's just like being creative. We're all creatives, right? So sometimes it's being creative in how you approach and think outside of the lines. It's not always a case of like, I want to just pitch my tracks to you. Just be of service and help them in some way.
Yeah, I have gotten some traction along those lines. I did help a short filmmaker clear 2 tracks. Like it was about 6 months ago, and they were very appreciative and said that, you know, that they would keep me in mind for the next project. It wasn't an opportunity where I could place something of mine. She had specific tracks in mind she wanted to work with, but I cleared them for her.
Well, that's great, because that's then on your CV, and now you can take that experience and then you can go to a supervisor or supervisors, even go into a Facebook group that you know a ton of supervisors will be on, and be like, I have done clearance work, so if you need any admin help on that, that's also going to really help them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think
I like that. It's good.
Same as, say, working with directors and stuff and producers. If there's any other way that you're able to offer any kind of additional skills that you can bring to the table to help make their jobs easier for them, everyone is always overstretched, right? Especially those also working on sets and stuff, and producers, like film producers, any kind of production management, they've all got more than they can handle. If you can be that person and be like, hey, yes, I can offer school, but like, if you need a hand on like anything else, like production wise or admin or anything where your skills, where you might be able to lend those kind of skills in it, because in this day and age it's so saturated across the board. I mean, everyone's got a sync agent, everyone's like scoring, whatever. It's almost like you have to like really diversify your skills now and come with that little bit extra, because if you're like, yeah, I've got a sync company and I rep tracks, yeah, well, so does like a million other people. What else can you bring? I can just go to
value-added experience.
Special. Especially if you're coming with building up your track record as well, because you can't come with that leverage. So you have to be more creative and more diversify what skills that you can bring to make them choose you over someone else. So a lot of us, you know, we're creatives, you will have skills in other areas as well. How can you also leverage that and bring that to the table? Because that could be the one thing that be like, yeah, that will really help me. But don't do it to the point where don't get walked over, but do be of service.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, just be creative with that. So even another way, I know someone that got some tracks in Emily in Paris, who's based in France. He was an extra. Because he was an extra, he was on the inside. Being on the inside, he got, no, I think it was a few tracks in production. He earned a few bit of extra pounds at the same time and got his tracks in there. So sometimes think it's not like there's many routes, there's many creative ways. It's just thinking a little bit more outside the box. And it might just be like some twists and turns that you have to take, but you'll still get to the destination you want to get to. So sometimes I feel like we can, all of us, have a little bit of a sheep mentality, and like everyone's talking about like, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to go to conferences. You need to get your metadata right. You need to like, you know, spend time just meeting with supervisors. I'm always like, no. There's got to be other ways. So like push ourselves to think outside the box as much as we can and don't be a sheep. All of us, even me. We can all be guilty of it. So that's what makes you stand out. Cool. Anything else that anyone else wants to add at this stage?
Amelia, I'd like to jump in if you don't mind.
Of course.
So this is all really interesting to hear, and I'm constantly reminded through this discussion of some great advice I received early on, which is always think long game. And some of my biggest wins have felt like they've come out of the blue after percolating for months, years. There's one situation where I got a call. I think I first connected with a fellow producer 15 years ago, and we just kept in touch, texting. We shared similar, edgy senses of humor, similar mindsets when it came to certain, political and social things. So we would just be in touch. And then all of a sudden I get a call and he was like, "Hey, this random thing came up. I thought of you." I never could have seen that coming. I never could have planned for it. But because we connected on a human level and there was that baseline of trust and communication and like, this is a good person. This is someone I can work with. I feel comfortable. He felt comfortable floating me because he knew that I was solid enough to not embarrass him, basically.
Yeah.
And that I had the ability and the experience to take advantage of the opportunity and to do it well. And that actually leads into the second thing I wanted to say, which was just, Amelia, you were talking about what can you offer to people other than, "Hi, I'm a music person. I have music." You can offer being a fellow human. And sometimes just checking in and connecting with somebody in a meaningful way can mean the world. And I don't mean to sound parasitic because it's like, oh, become friends with everybody and then they'll give you jobs. It's more just forging positive, mutually supportive relationships that can benefit everyone involved in both personal ways and industry ways.
Yeah. And like you say, trust is a massive thing. And that's the main thing also they're thinking of, because there's a lot of legalities in play when dealing with productions, clearance, especially like in films, for instance, on sets, like insurances and stuff like that. There's so much at stake. That's why, like, a lot of the times they are really careful because of that reason. And if it's not recommended, they are taking a risk. So it's also, you have to see it from like their point of view. If they got it wrong, the fallout of that could be catastrophic. So it is, especially without the credits there, then it is a big risk because you don't have that proven, established credits of what it's like working with you or the recommendations. So yeah, you have to start off small to then build that up. So that's what then gives them that trust, and building the relationships there on a relationship level, that they get to know you as a person as well. So I want to go round quickly before we finish up. Thank you for all being so patient, because it's been quite a long session. And I just want to hear what each of your main goal is, because I didn't get a chance to read through the chat. So it'd be nice to hear what your main goal is, your big picture goal for 2026. So Michael, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I think what I wrote was in Q1, I'm hoping to nail down one significant scoring job, 2 placements, and 3 significant collaborative connections with directors or music supervisors that could turn into long-term mutually beneficial collaborations. This is a very long story made very short, but I'm at a point in my career where I'm pivoting significantly, and I kind of want by the end of Q1 to see sort of proof of concept. I want, there have been a lot of positive signs given the pivot that I've been doing, but I want to see some concrete results just to kind of prove to myself that what I'm trying to do is working. And I have to say that my checklist of to-dos as a result of this meeting is pretty massive. So I appreciate you all.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. All right, off now. You with us?
Yep, you just called me, right?
Yeah.
All right. Michael, that was great, man. You stole the words right out of my mouth earlier. Sorry. So, I mean, I like, man, I still do the old school. If somebody's in town, take them out to dinner. Really nice dinner or whatever. You know, they expect coffee, take them out somewhere really, really nice. They'll always remember that.
That's true. What's your big main goal for 2026?
All right. A lot. However, I'm gonna focus on one. You know, there's like a million things happening here. We had a good run with certain trailer houses, and we want to be able to increase that and maybe reach, you know, conservatively, maybe like, I don't know, 25 of the 49 main ones.
Nice.
And right, if we hit half of that, you know, by the end of Q1, then we can be, you know, we can just kind of wrap that up at the end of 3, and then, you know, reassess at the end of the year. I think that is an area that has worked for us. That I think, you know, it would still work, you know, really well. So there's that. There's a lot of, because there's been a lot of uncertainty with certain things. There's also certainty, which is, like you mentioned earlier, there's everybody worried about legal exposure on certain things. And at the end of the day, in sync, that's really what we're selling. It's peace of mind that you can license music from us or anybody here. I want to encourage everybody to actually think that way, if possible, that what we're selling is really peace of mind.
That's a great mission statement, isn't it?
Yes, it is ours. It's trademark, so don't use it.
Can't trademark that, people. Don't use that. I like it.
No, I'm willing to license it to you. You know, I'm willing to license the line out to for. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure.
But yeah, that's, you know, we just want to be able to. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, not to sound redundant, but you know, just keep working all the angles, and you know, goals wise, get that sync placement, and you know, keep working the contacts and networking, and keep track of it all via a database, which I don't have yet. So that's a good suggestion. I'm gonna do that.
Cool. Fernando, what's your big main pitch goal by the end of the year?
Well, to solidify my income revenues through music. I'm working as a film composer. I'm working on this vertical drama right now. Then I will work on this new short film. And my goal is to have to get to feature films for this year. In terms of film music, in terms of classical music, I started the year with a commission for the children's choir. So I'm writing the most that I love, which is classical music and film music. So
cool.
I'm in a good spot right now, but I need to see the money.
Yeah.
So it's a big topic for this year, and I would like to have, like, my perfect combination would be 80% working as a composer and 20% teaching and performing live as a pianist. And that's my main goal for this year. And well, and of course I have my LinkedIn daily basis work, sync composition daily basis work, and all my daily basis strategy for all my musical activities.
Mhm.
And I feel really focused right now, and so let's see this year how it goes.
Let's see. Nice, thank you. Crystal.
Hey there. So I guess none of my goals from last year came true, so that's a problem. So I guess my goal would be to get one of those things to come true. But ultimately, if I could just pay for what it costs me to be part of the sync environment with async, that would be ideal. Last year, I helped an artist get out from a contract, and we had to buy back their catalog. And so I gave them a loan to do that with the idea that whatever I was able to sync, I'd pay off that loan with prior to paying them, which seems easy enough since they've been synced previously many times. So it didn't happen last year. So the goal is to pay off that loan for sure. And then, I estimated that I'm paying about $5,000 a year in various fees just for the syncing side of music. So if I could just get it to cancel out what I'm paying for, I think that would be nice, because this isn't like my full-time job. I have other things that are, so I'm not putting 100% behind it. That's my fault. I don't have 100% to put behind it. So, I think if I could come up with just a goal of a targeting goal and a communication goal that's simplistic and easy to actually accomplish monthly, and just stick to it. Get rid of any other ideas financially or any type of marketing specifically to any direct genre or movie theaters versus advertising agencies. If I could just focus on having a clear and consistent communication goal monthly that's simplistic enough that I can actually do it, I think I would be pretty impressed with myself if I could do that for 12 months consecutively.
Yeah, I really love how you say that keep it simple. Because I've definitely written plans in the past that have just been too complex or too much. Less is more, and when it's simple, it's more easier to stick to, right? So yeah, no, I feel you. All right, cool. Thank you. Bronya?
Hiya. Sorry about earlier. I had forgotten how Google Meet works. So, yeah, look, I'm very simple. A couple of placements this year that I have pitched myself as opposed to a music supervisor contacting us, use our music. A couple of artists who I would just love to be able to place somewhere. And that's it, really. And to clone myself. So I have time to do all of these things as well as, my proper job. So yeah, that would be it, really. So fingers crossed for everyone.
And Ireland is such a hub for film.
Yeah.
At the moment. That's where it's all happening. There's so many productions happening in Ireland.
I know, and it's trying to hone in on that.
Yeah, you're in the right place for exactly that. So if I was in your position, I would be tapping them all up, all the film production companies, find out what co-productions are going on, because there's a ton that are co-producing with Ireland because of their tax incentives. Is such a hub. So definitely, if I had anything on my goals for this year, I would be looking into that if I Because you're
Unfortunately, a lot of the time, what happens is, because they are filmed here, it means the music, especially with any productions that are co-produced with Canada, the music goes to Canadians.
yeah, they're a post service country, so all post happens in there. But you do have quite a few film production companies in Ireland.
Yeah, and we do get some local placements, which is fantastic. But yeah, I know. I must try and find out this year now. That'll be another goal. I'll add that to the list.
Yeah, because
Being
Ireland is on my radar. I'm getting my Irish passport, and
Excellent. You'll be one of us.
yes, I'm half Irish, so
Yeah.
of my surname, of course.
Yes.
Ireland is a territory that's actually one of my goals to potentially look into as a territory. Not yet, but I would say maybe in around a year's time, because of the film stuff happening over there, and because they're not in the EU. So
Ireland.
Ireland, it's not in the EU, is it?
Well, we are. Yeah.
Oh. But yeah,
It's England, isn't it? England removed themselves.
Yeah, so England is not, which is why a lot of European productions won't work with us.
Yeah.
In the UK.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, so I've been told, like, if I'm more based like Ireland, then it will open up it will open up the European market.
Yeah. Yeah, and because we're a Eurozone as well.
Yes, yeah. So,
well, if you need any help or anything like that, let me know.
thank you so much.
No problem.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Edgar? You still with us?
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry about the English.
That's okay. What's your big picture goal for 2026?
Yeah, I think I've learning a lot from you for this meeting. I think to develop a good catalog, to reach consistent, high quality productions, and get some connections in the industry. And well, I'm new in this industry, so I think I have a lot to learn and to develop. So start with little things, probably to score short videos, short films. That would be something to start off little by little.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good mindset. 100%. Good goals. Thank you. All right, Rich. You with us, Rich? Not sure. Oh, we didn't do the. Oh, okay. Which key? Anyway, okay, no problem. Thank you so much, everyone, and for all your contributions as well into the goals. Gary, I hope you also found that helpful, workshopping your goals as well and getting some good ideas. There are lots of things for you to think about, especially now that you're a gold member as well. And yeah, if you have any other questions or anything based off the back of this session, feel free to drop a DM, and make sure you do write out the goals that you have and do roadmap them. And massive good luck with hitting the ground running with them. Let's make this the best year yet. Okay, positive attitude. Thanks everyone. I will be posting this up. If you have any issues with anything discussed or you don't want to upload, just let me know, because I know it's sensitive stuff that's discussed on here, like ideas and stuff. So any concerns or anything, just DM me. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day or your evening like me, and yes, see you later. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.